This is a video tutorial for the crochet hook bobble method. It's one of my favorite ways of creating a bobble within a knitted fabric using a crochet hook, and it creates these really nice, tight, neat looking bobble stitches. I've cast on and I've knitted to the point where I want to make this bobble stitch. The first thing I'll do is make sure that the stitches on my right needle are just pushed further down the needle so that they don't fall off. And then I'm going to place my working yarn into my left hand. And you'll do this regardless of how you normally hold your yarn. I've got a crochet hook that I've matched to the size of my knitting needles. You can either use a slightly smaller or larger needle, depending on if you want a tighter or looser bobble, or just follow what the pattern suggests. And then once I'm up to the stitch where I want to create the bobble, then I'm going to start by taking my crochet hook and placing it into that stitch. And then with the working yarn, I'm going to lay the yarn over my hook, and I'm going to pull the working yarn through that stitch. So I'm keeping everything fairly loose as I work, and then holding my needles apart, I'm then going to bring the crochet hook kind of in between the needles, and then I'm going to lay the working yarn over the crochet hook, and I'm going to go back into that knit stitch from the front, and then I'm going to pull the working yarn through. So now I've got 3 loops on my crochet hook, and then I'm just going to follow those previous 2 steps again. So bringing the crochet hook in between the needles, I'm going to lay the yarn over the hook, and then I'm going to bring the hook through the front of that knit stitch, and I'm going to pull the working yarn through. So now I've got 5 loops on the crochet hook, and then I'll repeat that once more. So the yarn goes over the crochet hook, then it comes through the front of that knitted stitch, pull that working yarn through. So now I've got 7 loops on my crochet hook. Now I want to bring the working yarn through all 7 of those loops. So I'm going to again bring the crochet hook in between my needles, lay the yarn over the hook, and then I'm going to pull that yarn through all 7 loops. So it's a good idea to make sure when you're forming those loops that they're not too tight. I also find that if you pinch onto the bottom of the loops, it gives you a little bit more tension, and then you can pull that working yarn through all 7 of those loops. So then what we're going to do now is do 2 chain stitches. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, and then I'm going to, for the final steps, go back into that stitch, that knitted stitch, lay the yarn over and pull it through. So now I've got 2 stitches on my crochet hook, and then I'm going to lay the yarn over my hook and pull it through those 2 stitches, and you can just give it a nice little firm tug. And then I'm going to slide the knitted stitch off of the left needle, and the loop on your crochet hook, and just loosen that a little bit, and I'm going to slip that onto my right needle. So you can give it a little bit of a tug and it will firm up in place. You can see you've got your nice firm bobble stitch, and then you'll just keep knitting to the point where the pattern will tell you to make an additional one, and you just follow those exact same steps along the way.